No Wilson, no victory for the third straight game since Russ got hurt. Without Wilson, Carroll's team flat out inept. The concept of running the ball nonstop into the strength of the Saints defense is flat out awful. Wilson has been the ultimate deodorant for years in Seattle, covering up what stinks. And now Seattle is just plain awful. On the flip side, this was a big one for Alvin Kamara and the Saints. Kamara and Demario Davis, flat out stars last night, carrying New Orleans to a pretty huge win. Kamara, who's a superstar, out of this world. Last night as a receiver out of the backfield, 10 catches, 128 yards, and this is a big deal for New Orleans. The NFC playoff picture is wild and weird. I mean, you have 5 legit Super Bowl contenders, right? In whatever order, Arizona, Green Bay, Dallas, Tampa, and the Rams. You could easily make the case for any one of those winning the entire thing. Then you have the Saints, and then you have everyone else competing for the other 2 spots. The schedule is tough for Sean Payton's team, but like I predicted preseason, I expect the Saints to be good enough to make the playoffs. Look, not Super Bowl good. Jameis Winston isn't on the level of Stafford and Dak, Rodgers, Murray, or Brady. That's why you draw the line after those 5. But the Saints' playoff hopes are absolutely real. They should make it. There's no excuse. And for Seattle, the waning days of Russ in the great Northwest are going to be bleak. Seattle's going to finish in last. Wilson's going to get his trade request granted at the end of the season. Aaron Rodgers talking to the press today about the news that Davante Adams is on the COVID list, and Adams is disappointed, and so is Rodgers, and so am I. After a lackluster Week 7 in the NFL, Week 8 was going to start off with a bang. 7-0 Cardinals hosting 6-1 Packers. But I just cannot see the Packers winning on Thursday when Davante Adams can't play, and he now needs 2 straight days of negative tests, no symptoms, and has to be cleared by a team and league doctor on a short week. Highly unlikely Adams plays, which means it's highly unlikely Green Bay wins. Adams is a star. I think this season he's the second best receiver in the game behind Cooper Kupp. I think the Rodgers to Adams connection, best in the business, it's special. It's also everything, like literally everything. I know Packers are 6-0 in games when Adams cannot play the last 2 years, but I don't care about that as it relates to Thursday night. Look at the Packers leaders in receptions this year. Allen Lazard has done nothing. Also today, he was placed on the COVID list. MVS has been absolutely invisible. Randall Cobb is what he is, 4th receiver. Look at the list. Aaron Jones is the lead back, and he's 2nd in receptions. Look at the dip and disparity going from Adams' numbers to the next receiver, which, of course, brings us back, as everything always does, to the 2020 NFL Draft, when we begged the Green Bay Packers to draft Michael Pittman, who caught another touchdown for the Indianapolis Colts on Sunday. Being fair to the Cardinals, Arizona is more well-rounded than the Green Bay Packers right now. With Davante Adams, I was picking Arizona. Without Davante Adams, I feel terrible for my guy Aaron Rodgers. Vegas has shifted the line from Cards by 3 to Arizona favored by 6. I cannot see the Packers winning if Adams cannot play. It's always nice to see good things happen to great people who deserve it. The Houston Astros are back in the World Series, and Bregman, Altuve, and Carlos Correa are banging the drum, or should I say the garbage can, in saying that they aren't listening to the outside noise. I don't know, perhaps we should videotape it for them so they know what's coming, or buzz them when it's time to pay attention. Actually, here's the truth. The Astros are lying. They love playing the villain card. The bats are amazing. The Astros are a truly great team, and Dusty Baker is beyond easy to root for. As much as it pains me, Astros are going to win the World Series. They have the pitching matchup starting tonight. They have home field, and the Braves have this unreal momentum and mojo, and The Braves feel like a team of destiny. Eddie Rosario has turned into Hank Aaron. The Braves took advantage of Dave Roberts' inability to manage his way out of a paper bag, and Dave Roberts neutered the Dodgers' own strength by using the dopey opener, and we first guessed that, and it makes me sick. The Braves bucked the odds in the regular season, which was crazy without Ronald Acuna Jr. playing an inning in the second half. They stunningly beat the Brewers and the Dodgers. They ooze confidence. I'll be rooting for the Atlanta Braves, but it feels like the villain is going to rise up. The irony is going to be real and sickening when Rob Manfred is handing the Astros the championship piece of metal. Mike Tomlin. Wow. That's one way to squash the USC coaching rumors, and good for Mike Tomlin. I get it completely. I love the way Mike Tomlin handled that. First of all, Mike Tomlin has an unbelievable job coaching the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mike Tomlin is entrenched in Pittsburgh. Look, Carson Palmer said that Mike Tomlin was on the radar for USC. Carson would know, and I love Carson Palmer. If I'm USC, and I've said this before, I would shoot for the moon. Mike Tomlin, you see his resume, that's the moon. Mike Tomlin is going into the Hall of Fame, and we've gotten on Tomlin for seasons of underachievement, for issues in the Mike Tomlin trap game. Make no mistake, Mike Tomlin is going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Now, I would make a call. I'd have a back channel conversation with Tomlin or his agent. I mean, could you imagine Mike Tomlin coaching USC? He'd be a rock star. But he's right. It is offensive to take someone with that resume and say, hey, you want to coach college? He's 100% right. His resume, Andy Reid's resume, Sean Payton's resume, all three, in my opinion, are Hall of Famers. You know, he didn't just mention Reid and Sean Payton by accident. They have very similar resumes. No one is saying, well, Sean Payton should take the LSU job. I mean, think about that. So I understand Tomlin's frustration. I also think simultaneously there's a method to the madness. He's letting the Rooney family know, I'm picking the next quarterback. And if I want Roethlisberger out, and he should at the end of the year, and if I want to bench him at any point this season, I'm going to do it. So I love Mike Tomlin flexing his muscle. I love that rant. There's no confusion. There's no ambiguity. This is not Urban Meyer where you believe he's eventually going to leave and be in the mix for a college job. Mike Tomlin crushed it. He nailed that press conference. I absolutely loved it. I got to get this off my chest. Patrick Mahomes said on Sunday after the loss to the Tennessee Titans that the days of rainbows and flowers gone for Kansas City. Yes, they are. We've talked about this at length all year. Chiefs' problems are very, very real. Mahomes is part of this. Patrick Mahomes against Tennessee had the worst game of his magical career. Patrick Mahomes right now is turning it over at a rapid rate, and he's not even making the possible in terms of the easy throws, and obviously in terms of the magic quotient, that doesn't exist. Kansas City's a bad football team. Offensive line is dreadful. The run game is non-existent. This is why they shouldn't have reached on Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Taylor and Swift. Would have been much better for this football team a couple of drafts ago. The defense is downright deplorable. They're not good enough to, quote-unquote, turn on the switch. The competition is amazing. Kansas City has some real issues. They'll beat the Giants on Monday. They'll get to 4-4, but it's going to be an absolute battle for Kansas City to make the playoffs. And if they do, and color me very skeptical on that because their defense is absolutely atrocious, they are on a road to nowhere. It's been proven throughout this season, especially when they're matched up with the big boys like Buffalo or the Chargers or the Tennessee Titans. This is not a vintage Kansas City Chiefs team. Frankly, they're not very good. The San Francisco 49ers have completely botched the quarterback position. And honestly, if I'm a Niner fan, I'm livid. I'm livid at Kyle Shanahan because Kyle Shanahan could have signed Tom Brady, but instead he stayed with Jimmy Garoppolo. And then he tried to kill Jimmy G off and wanted Matthew Stafford, couldn't get Stafford, and inexplicably kept Jimmy Garoppolo. And then traded up and gave away first-round picks like it was baseball cards or bubblegum, and brought in a project in Trey Lance. And I would have drafted Mac Jones, and I killed him for not drafting Mac Jones. And Trey Lance played one college football game last year. One. So no one knows more or better than Kyle that Jimmy Garoppolo is not that good. But he didn't do enough about it. What a waste in San Francisco over the last couple of years. I gotta get this off my chest. I'm out as the president of the Sam Darnold fan club. That's all for me, folks. I'm done. Sam Darnold was turning it over like no other and had no clue against the inept New York football Giants. I took the cheese on Darnold. Change of scenery, would follow a Ryan Tannehill trajectory, getting away from Adam Gase. He had Matt Rule and obviously Joe Brady in Carolina. I'm out on Sam Darnold's. I was dead wrong. Gotta get this off my chest. There is no bigger disappointment in the NFL than the Miami Dolphins, and you can't pin the loss on Sunday on Tua Tagovailoa, who played incredibly well. And look, there are a lot of reasons why no team in the NFL should trade for Deshaun Watson, but because of the record and an impatient owner and the coach and GM botching the last two drafts, this is why Miami, I believe, over the next 7 days before the trade deadline, will end up trading for Deshaun Watson. And I think it'll tie in the last two topics. Their stiffest competition will end up being the Carolina Panthers. Back time to shine. Week 7 of the NFL saw some incredible performances filled with my guys. Starting at number 5, my guy, Jalen Ramsey. How about the play made by my guy, Jalen Ramsey, to, in essence, seal the victory for the LA Rams? Picking off former teammate Jared Goff in the end zone late in the fourth quarter. And this is why you make the trade for my guy, Jalen Ramsey. No one ever talks about the compensation in that deal because it was always a huge win for my guy, Sean McVay, my guy, Les Snead, because my guy, Jalen Ramsey, is a star. And also, we spent the entire week talking about feelings on the Jared Goff deal. Look, you make that trade because of football, not feelings. And Jared Goff throwing an interception in the red zone with my guy, Jalen Ramsey, getting it done. That's all you need to know about why you make the trade for my guy, Matthew Stafford. My guy, Jalen Ramsey, he's going to be first team All-Pro once again this season. My guy, Jalen Ramsey. Number 4, my guy, Kyle Pitts. My guy, Kyle Pitts, put on an absolute show against the Miami Dolphins on Sunday. 7 catches, 163 yards in the Atlanta Falcons' gutty, gritty victory. My guy, Kyle Pitts, now has 471 yards this season, the most receiving yards by a tight end in their first 6 career games since the NFL merger. Talking to my guy, Matt Ryan, on my SiriusXM radio show this week, he raved about Kyle Pitts, how tough he is, how clutch he is. That was a perfect final drive. Great job by my guy, Matt Ryan, throwing a lot of passes to my guy, the great Kyle Pitts. Number 3, my guy, 44-year-old Tom Brady. Are you kidding me? Ho-hum, just another 4-touchdown passing performance from my guy, Tom Brady. My guy, Tom Brady, with his 37th career game with 4 passing touchdowns. He surpassed 600 passing touchdowns in his career. And with that performance from my guy, Tom Brady, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are now tied with my guy, Josh Allen, and the Buffalo Bills as the Vegas favorites to win the Super Bowl, according to the updated odds from my guys over at DraftKings Sportsbook. My guy, the legendary Tom Brady. Number 2, my guy, Derek Carr. How about my guy, Derek Carr and the Raiders? Absolutely flying without John Gruden. My guy, Derek Carr, 323 yards, 2 touchdowns. My guy, Derek Carr, if you look at his numbers basically pitched the perfect game over the weekend. He now has 5 games, at least 300 passing yards. My guy, Derek Carr, crazy accurate on Sunday, completing 91% of his passes, the second highest completion percentage in a game in NFL history. Listen, ton of adversity, obviously with the Raiders. Hey, look who's in first place. My guy, the great Derek Carr. And my number one guy from this weekend in the NFL, who else? My guy, Joe Burrow. How about those Cincinnati Bengals? My guy, Joe Burrow, lit up the Baltimore Ravens like a jack-o'-lantern on Halloween. 416 yards, 3 touchdowns. My guy, Joe Burrow, becomes just the 5th player ever to throw for 400 yards and 3 scores against the Ravens, joining my guys, Eli and Peyton Manning, my guy, Drew Brees, my guy, Tom Brady. Oh, by the way, if the season ended today, it doesn't, but if the season ended today, your Cincinnati Bengals, my Cincinnati Bengals, our Cincinnati Bengals, the current 1 seed in the AFC. You've got my guy Joe Burrow throwing to my guy Jamar Chase with my guy Joe Mixon running the football. And the real key and why the Bengals are for real, and we called this preseason, their defense. They make plays, they get to the quarterback. My guy Joe Burrow is Joe Cool, Joey Franchise. He does an unbelievable job changing the image, the perception, the reality of the Cincinnati Bengals. My guy, Joe Burrow.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell for more videos.